Alright. First thing I want to say is that I'm going to spoil this rotten, so if you have not seen Asylum of the Daleks yet, go watch it first. I'm not even going to attempt to not spoil anything, so watch at your own risk. But yeah, I just finished watching it. It was literally the first time I've ever seen it, and the first time I've ever seen anything on it. And yeah, Stephen Moffat's making a fool out of me. My theories and a lot of the theories that a lot of people have come out with. Yeah, that was not Dalek Khan. Davros was nowhere near this episode. It was just Daleks. Now, the one thing that I will actually say that kind of bugged me, and I'm getting into some smaller things before I get into a lot of the major stuff, is I thought all of the regular Dalek breed were replaced by the drones, the red drones. Why are there the silver type from the David Tennant era? Or not the silver, a copper type. It was kind of weird, but it's nothing major. But anyway, another thing I want to admit is after 8 months of waiting, when it first started up, and it starts up on friggin' Skaro, the Dalek, the Dalek home world. First time ever seeing it in the Revive series. That was pretty cool, I actually have to admit. But yeah, it starts up on Skaro, and we see the Doctor talking to this woman, and long story short, she ends up knocking him out and gets brought to the Dalek Parliament ship, or whatever it's called. And then they do the same thing with Amy and Rory, who have literally just divorced. Now, this is actually one of the bigger problems I have with this is, yes, we have seen that that they're having marital troubles in the Pawn Life specials, but we haven't seen anything in actual episodes. Last time we saw Amy or Rory was the end of Doctor. What was the Christmas special called? The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. That's it. But yeah, last time we saw them, that was it, and now they're getting divorced. I know that they showed a few problems in the last episode of Pawn Life, but again, still weird. But anyway, it's a little sudden, but it gets fixed by the end of the episode, let's just put it that way. But all in all, yeah, it was a pretty good episode. In terms of a series starter, it was a bit better than Impossible Astronaut, though I will admit that Impossible Astronaut did have the obvious season setup thing going for it. Not quite as good as 11th Hour. I don't think, anyway. But I'll get into that with the Series 5 review. But anyway. No, it's good. It's pretty good. Like I said, pretty much none of the theories I have got confirmed. A couple of them got denied just because, again, that's not Dalek Khan. It's just a random Dalek that just decided to go squiddy. I have no idea. But, yeah, they bring all three of them up, send them to this planet called the Asylum, and they start trying to find the people that crashed there. Turns out that they're much like the woman from earlier who knocked him out, who knocked the Doctor out, are these kind of human Dalek hybrids. Not like Dalek Sec from Evolution, but like an eye stalk coming out of their forehead, and like a gun coming out of their palm of their hand. It's a little weird, but it's nothing drastically bad. It's just kind of odd. But the big surprise in this one was the fact that Jenna Louise Coleman's character, who is not named Clara, by the way, her actual name is Oswin, actually not only made an appearance, but made a huge appearance. And if you have not seen it yet, this is the last warning you're going to get, the fact that she was a human, but her actual person in this is literally the insane ramblings of a Dalek. Her character is a Dalek. My God, that is is that dropped my jaw. Because the thought had gone through my head once or twice, and I'm just like, no, that's absolutely stupid. Like the days before. Years. It hasn't been that long. But like the days beforehand, I was just like, they keep saying she's one of the most distinctive, one of the most unique companions. And I'm just like, how? Like, what is she, a lesbian? And admittedly, she did admit that her first boyfriend/girlfriend was named Nina. Go figure. Which she called the doctor for the entire episode. She was really good, by the way. I have to admit. She's kind of like a cross between Amy and Donna. That's a good sign. That's a very, very good sign for when she actually becomes a full-on companion, which, not sure how that's going to happen, since the Asylum kind of got blown up with her on it. So I'm kind of curious how that's going to go, but yeah, she was really good, and I gotta say that twist, it worked with how everything was going, and I knew something was wrong, because she had been in this room. We didn't actually know, like, we thought she was just trapped inside of a room the whole time, but in actuality, she was inside of a Dalek padded white cell, chained up. Excuse me. But, wow. Holy smokes. That was really good. Like, I could not have called that in a million years. Like, I will admit, as it started going on, like, let me rephrase that. Just speaking from, getting into it, like, before the episode started, I never would have called that. Like I said, I thought about it a few days, like, just, maybe she's a Dalek. That would be the most unique companion ever. And then 5 seconds later, I slapped myself because that was just really silly. And they made it work really well, I actually have to admit, because that was a really good twist. Also, one other thing I want to mention is the Daleks in this episode are really, like, you often hear about a lot of the old-timers, the guys who, I probably shouldn't call them old-timers, a lot of the people who watched Doctor Who in the 60s. Well, I suppose that would be old-timers, but you know what I mean, A lot of people who watched Doctor Who in the 60s when it first came out, and when the Daleks first started showing up, saying that they were these really creepy, like, unsettling things just because they were so alien-looking. And I never got that. I never really understood. Like, I love the Daleks. They're my favorite, like, villains in anything. Just because they're so iconic and they're so evil, and I did a text review on this. But anyway. The thing that really... oh, shoot. Train of thought just derailed. Give me a second. I'm doing this completely off the top of my head. I'm not going to be editing this at all. And this is the first time I've ever tried, like, an actual voice recording, so if I trail off, just go with me on this. Just kind of stick with me, and I'll come back to it in a minute. But, oh, shoot, where was I? No, well, let's just get off into something else, and I'll remember it in a bit. The Daleks were really good. That's it. They were creepy. They were damn creepy in this episode. Like, the insane ones, I mean. The ones in the Asylum. Also, while I'm there, the president put it himself. Like, why would... Or the president of the Daleks, the prime minister of the Daleks, the emperor, the grand poobah, whatever the hell his name is. I don't think they actually gave him a name, but... The big Dalek that basically kidnapped those three and shot them down into the Asylum, basically said something along the lines of, to why the hell they actually made an asylum and didn't just destroy them, was because, what was his exact words? It would be a crime to destroy such beautiful hate. Something like that. Which I love that line, by the way. I do love that, and the Doctor feeding off of that was beautiful. But, no, in terms of the Daleks, they were creepy. Like when Rory ended up getting shot down right into the center of like the massive loony ward, like the big one, with like just cobwebs and rusted out looking Daleks everywhere. And he'd walk around, he'd start he'd start poking a few of them or something stupid like that. Obviously nothing good came of this. So they started talking. Like one of them woke up, looks at him, and just goes like he just starts saying. I think Rory thought he was saying eggs, like the food you crack open and fry and whatever. And that's a little bit of a comedy bit. And the first I heard it, I'm just like, it's trying to say exterminate. Rory starts trying to hand it like a little ball thing. It's like, that's your egg? And I'm just like, he's trying to say exterminate. And eventually they do start saying it, and they all start waking up and looking at him and trying to shoot him. And, but yeah, the way they were saying it was actually really creepy. Like, it was just elongating everything and cutting off at every syllable. Like, really don't want to do a Dalek impression. Like they're struggling to say it, but at the same time very, like, you get crazy out of these things. You get crazy and incredibly violent off of these things, and that's beautiful. Like, that's what I love about the Daleks, is just how berserk they get. But, getting back to that, there was kind of a bait and switch with the, who killed the Daleks, who do you think thing, which was, we all thought the Doctor was just going to say, screw the anti-death thing. To absolute hell with it. I'm just going to start killing things now. That's actually not the way it went. Though, A Town Called Mercy might have more on this. So that might not be completely wrong yet. But where it went with that originally was, he, basically, one of the psychotic Daleks went up to him and just went, you're the Predator, you're the enemy, you're the oncoming storm, you're the Doctor, I am going to destroy you, you must be destroyed. Doctor looks at him, you don't have a gun. The Dalek looks back at him, self-destruct sequence activated, Doctor puts him in reverse, goes back and just blows up everything. So, really the kind of catch with that was, it was more the Daleks' fault, really. Sort of. But it didn't really come off as sinister or him being evil or anything like that, no. But, and one other thing I do want to cover is Amy and Rory's marriage. Apparently what ended up happening was, and again, I'm spoiling this rotten, although if you've gone this far, hi, how you doing? We're in spoiler land. Hope you enjoy this. But what ended up happening was, apparently after Demon's Run, whatever Kavarian and the Silence did, she can't have kids anymore. And apparently, since she really thought that Rory had really wanted to have kids, she decided to let him go and whatever, but she ended up kicking him out, and it's complicated, but it makes sense. It wasn't done badly, I don't think. Again, I've only seen it once, and just recently, like, less than half an hour ago. So, it made sense. It's just, it was one of those things. If you dig it, good for you. I don't particularly dig it, but it's not bad. But anyway, I'm probably going to be doing one for each of the new episodes, like one of these little vlog reviews for each one of them, just to kind of see how it works, how it turns out. But yeah, I'll end up doing a full Series 7 review, I should say. But this is just kind of first impressions. But anyway, I'm the Immortal K, and I shall see you next week, or whenever the hell I decide to get off my ass and finally watch the Christmas special. Toodles.